Got to get your take on one phone call this morning. Now another phone call coming up in about 2.5 hours. What's going on there, Tom? What do you think?
To my mind, Trump was already juggling with the president of Mexico, trying to figure out whether the 1-month extension that apparently has been granted would be. And he had that on his front burner, and he put us on the back burner, which is probably not a bad thing in and of itself. I think that Trudeau overall has taken a very tempered approach to this. We haven't overreacted. Small tariffs would come in on a relatively small number of items to begin with an announcement that 3 weeks later there would be a lot more to come. So I think that a lot of Canadians are a bit frustrated. They would have loved to have seen someone stand up and punch the bully in the nose. But for the time being, I think that Trudeau is showing that that sort of patience is probably the best formula. The thing that Trudeau accomplished more than anything else is keeping everybody around the table. Scott Moe was on the air just a few minutes ago giving his take on things, but he was there. He's in agreement with what's being done. Alberta seems to be in lockstep with the other provinces, which was not the case just a couple of weeks ago. So I think that Trudeau taking this more tempered approach, that some would say it's timorous or even timid, but I think that he's showing a fair bit of maturity, just saying, look, we've been partners with the U.S. for so many years. We're not going to let this, this too will pass, and we've got to get past it in an intelligent way. And I think that that's the way the Canadian government has been approaching it.
Yeah, we're going to show our viewers what Canada's retaliatory measures are going to look like. As you point out, tomorrow, $30 billion worth of goods to be hit. That's Tuesday. And then 3 weeks after that, another $125 billion, depending on how this plays out. Again, let me ask you about that call with Mexico. Do you think Justin Trudeau will get the same, deal or whatever from Trump as well? In other words, this gets delayed by a month, kicks down the road. The Canadian government promises to do more on border security, and that helps to buy some time.
Well, one of the things we have learned about Trump over the years, other than the fact that he lies constantly, is that when he has an issue that he's put on the table, you have to be able to say that you're doing something that he's asked for. That way he can claim victory. So what President Sheinbaum of Mexico did, I think quite cleverly, she said, I'm going to move 10,000 national troops to the border to help secure the border and stop drug trade, fentanyl going into the United States and illegal immigrants. That allows Trump to turn around and say, well, I've paused things for 30 days because she's doing what I asked her to do, and that shows that we're going to be able to work together. To the extent that Chrystia Freeland is completely right when she says that the complaint against fentanyl on the Canadian border is a complete fiction. It's pure Trump. It's a fraud. It's a con job. It's not true that Canada is the source of anything nearing, not even 1/5 of 1% of the fentanyl that goes into the States comes from Canada. So what is going on? Well, the blubbering about the 51st state and the desire to get back at Canada because we, have been receiving a subsidy of $200 billion from the U.S. What Trump was trying to say is that Canada has an advantage because we export $200 billion more to the U.S. than what we take in from them. But that's almost all petroleum and gas products. So they get a sweetheart deal on that, a very low price. And then he turns around and says, oh, that's the U.S. subsidizing Canada. So that's the world of Donald Trump, where everything becomes a recrimination. Everybody's trying to take advantage of the poor old U.S., and he's there to put a stop to it because, didn't you know, this is going to be a golden age for them.
You've been in politics long enough, and you know this country very well. Canadians are nice, polite, we work well with others, but when you push us, we get angry, and you're starting to see this boycott American products, buy Canadian as well. What do you make of that, sort of the rising anger out there?
It's very real. And I'm hearing it from a lot of people that are friends and family and people who regularly go to the United States. I have, close friends who have a condo in the States and say, we're just going to put the thing up for sale. We want nothing to do with the place anymore. So there is going to be a lot of that. People just saying, you're not getting my tourist dollars anymore. And to the extent possible, when I go into a store, if I see something that's made in the U.S. and I've got a similar product that I actually want from Canada, I'm not even going to think twice. I'm going to obviously go towards the Canadian product. There are websites being put together rapidly where you can find information on which products are indeed made in Canada. So yeah, I think this is very real. But beyond that, there's so much foolishness in the approach that Trump is taking. I was listening to one of the people from a very large tanker truck company. They build the tankers that go on these trucks that haul back and forth liquid substances. She said, look, all of our tankers are made either from aluminum or from stainless steel. So we take the ingots of the aluminum or we take the raw stainless steel that gets made here, but we don't have the ability to transform it. That gets done in the States. So she says, when I ship that across the border, now it'll get hit with 25%. And then once it's been transformed and I take it back to my factory to make it into a truck, tanker, he says, well, I'm going to get hit again. And she said, once the truck is finished, if I were to export it to the States, it would get hit again. So they're trying to come up with workarounds to only build in the one country what is going to be sold in that country. But it's an absolute waste of time and energy and potential profit. This is what these tariffs are about. Trump is looking to take in billions of dollars, if not hundreds of billions of dollars, into the U.S. Treasury on the backs of American consumers. Todd, they're going to be paying $15 more, or if not more, for a tank of gas in the U.S. because of the tariffs that Trump's put on. All that money is to provide him with enough cash so that he can give rich people the tax reductions he's promised them. So it's the average working American family that's going to pay for the tax reduction for Elon Musk and Donald Trump. That's what this is about. And finally, there are enough U.S. politicians starting to twig to the fact that this is just a tax on working Americans. That took a while, but Trump knows that there's going to be a lot of blowback when that becomes clear.
Political commentator Tom Mulcair joining us. Tom, great to see you as always. Thanks for this.
Good to see you, Todd.